Good morning and welcome to another episode of Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. And we've got our Undersheriff back with us today, Undersheriff Ron Cave. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Shonda. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Now, we've got a full show, and this is one that we really need everyone to tune into because it's a big trend that we're seeing out there. But before we get to that, I want to go back to last week's topic. On my drive here, I got a call from former Mayor John Marks, who said, Shonda, I got a call from someone who said I have jury duty and I have to pay this money. Tell me this is not legitimate. And I was like, thank you for asking. No, it is not legitimate. It's a scam. So it's just, this is what we just talked about last week. We need everyone to be vigilant. We're not going to ask you for money.
Not ever going to ask you for money, ever over the phone, ever for you to come in and pay anything. That is something that we've been seeing. We, of course, been trying to provide a public awareness to that. And they've gotten creative because they identify people that work with us, and then they schedule time for you to come in. But then they'll interrupt that time or cancel it just before and say, hey, I've got it taken care of. You just send me $300, $500,000, whatever the cost is, and people do it. And don't do it because that's not what we're going to do.
That is not what we're going to do. So we just want to put that reminder out there to folks.
That's a good reminder.
Now today's topic, this is one of those things that, we've been messaging about a lot, but we can't talk about it enough. We're talking about those crimes of opportunity, but specifically vehicle break-ins and thefts.
Yeah, and we've seen obviously some trends to it. So we wanted to get, Sergeant Dave Teems here to talk about some of the proactive things that we're doing, and more importantly, some of the proactive things that the community can do to try to prevent these.
Yeah, he's going to really delve into what prevention looks like, things that you can do ahead of time. He's going to talk about some of the trends that we're seeing. But, we have our 9 p.m. routine, so we got to give a plug for that on social media. And folks, it's a great opportunity for them to have that reminder.
It is, and it is a good refresher because even sometimes I'll go to my window, did I lock it? Make sure. And just because we're all busy, we're on the phone, you got kids, you got groceries, you got things that you're doing that you're distracted.
Yes.
And making sure that these distractions don't cause you to leave your keys in the car and your car unlocked and unsecured, and give that opportunity for people to steal your vehicle.
That's right. That's right. We call the 9 p.m. routine, and we post that to social media because we usually people are about in the house for the night, so it's just a good reminder to hit that key fob. All right.
For sure.
All right. Well, thank you, Undersheriff. You got a lot to unpack here today, and you want to make sure you stick around. From vehicle burglaries to vehicle theft, we've got prevention tips and all the information you need to know. Stay tuned.
Good morning, I'm Deputy Garrett with the Leon County Sheriff's Office K-9 Unit, and this is your Safety Tip Tuesday.
Wildlife is all around us. Critters like raccoons and squirrels are cute, but they can be very dangerous. And living in Florida, it's not uncommon to encounter other animals like snakes and gators. The rule in the great outdoors is simple. Don't touch or go near an animal. Even if you're tempted to capture your encounter on video, leave them alone and never attempt to touch or approach them. These animals aren't like regular pets. They're not used to being around people and may bite or attack if you come near them. They also might have rabies. Don't ever try to feed a wild animal. Bird feeders are okay, but other animals, even if they look hungry, should never be fed. Just remember, even seemingly harmless animals can react defensively if they feel threatened. It's essential to respect their space. Always use common sense and let the experts handle the situation. Contact a critter control professional, and if you or your pet are bitten by a wild animal, contact Animal Services as soon as possible. In any emergency, always call 911.
And that's your safety tip. Have a good day.
A 19-second conversation with a stranger online can put your child in danger of being exploited or abused.
Talking to kids about online safety can protect us for a lifetime. Don't wait. Talk to us today.
Another teenager, victim to fake pills. That smells like big crime that needs to be stopped. Before buying pills online, think about this. Should buying prescription pills be this easy?
Yeah, bro, I'm picking up. Same guy. I bet. Got you 5.
Think these pills are tested and safe? Think they're the same ones you get from a doctor? You know they're not. Did you know that fake prescription pills may contain fentanyl? And an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal. Listen. Before buying pills from social media, think again. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org and go for real.
Welcome back to Leon County Today. One of the most common crimes that we see here in our community involves vehicles, and that's whether it's theft of the car itself or break-ins to steal valuables that may be left inside. These crimes impact families across Leon County, but there are a few simple steps that you can take to protect yourself. And today, I'm joined by Sergeant Dave Teems of our Property Crimes Unit to talk a little bit more about some of the trends that we're seeing in our community and what you can do to keep from becoming a victim. Now, Sergeant Teems, thanks for being here today, and let's start with vehicle thefts and what kind of vehicles are criminals targeting the most right now, and why?
So I think the thing that we're seeing the most when it comes to actual vehicle thefts are going to be your Kias and your Hondas, but it's specific model years. What they've figured out is that there's a specific thing that they can do if they get in. I don't want to get into what it is. It's out there if someone wants to look it up, but where it's very easy to steal those vehicles if you can get inside them. They're older cars. They're about a 6-7 year period. They're easy to get into. But beyond that, a lot of it's just opportunity. You're going to see people that if they leave their key fobs in the car, we see that from time to time where it's just easier. I'm going to get in, hit the button, and I'm just going to go. 9 times out of 10, that's great. It's that one time where you lose your car.
Yeah. So we're seeing an uptick a little bit, as you indicated, with Kia and Hyundai. So what can people do, not only with those models or brands, but what else can people do to protect themselves?
So, I mean, the easiest thing to do is try to put something physical. What's the old thing that used to in the 80s and 90s you put in there? They're still around. The club, I think, is what it is. But those are easy ways to keep it out. If you have one of those model years and you're not able to go in and get it fixed or do something different with your car, you pay a little bit of money, you get something that physically they cannot drive the vehicle. Beyond that, just trying to keep everything out of it. If you're gonna leave something around, don't put anything valuable in your car. Don't leave your keys in your car. Don't make it as easy as it can be, is the best way to put it. So
now we've also heard about some of these organized groups using technology to steal cars. Is there anything that citizens can do to prevent that with the technology resources? So part of what you're talking about is like relay attacks. So what that is where someone comes up, there's usually 2 people involved. Someone stands close to the house because they want to pick up the signal from your key fob. It then gets transported over to the next person that's standing next to the car, makes it seem like the fob is there. They don't have to break a window. It doesn't take very long. Of course, that can be an expensive piece of equipment to get. We don't see our local car thieves with that, but you'll see some roving bands. They want to get higher-end vehicles, things they can take to a chop shop. The biggest part of it is just trying to keep your keys in a place that aren't near your exits, aren't near where someone can go over. Try to, I've got a key rack in my house that you can hang things up on. Try to keep that away from those exits and 10 to 15 feet away from where they can get it to an exterior wall is kind of a good rule of thumb. Yeah, those are some great prevention, because prevention certainly is the key. And we've touched on it a little bit, but what top steps do you recommend to reduce the risk of having your car stolen? So the biggest part is, try to make sure that things are lit up. If you've got lights in the area where it's at, we were talking before the show. I actually had not too long ago where my next door neighbor and my neighbor across the street both had their vehicles broken into. Neither one of them had their vehicles locked. Thankfully that they didn't leave anything valuable, so there's nothing taken out of the car. But I go and I look at my cameras, and what do I see? I see the bad guy walking up my driveway. Thankfully they didn't attempt to get into my vehicles. I don't know what the deal was, but it can happen to anybody that's there. But try to light things up as best as possible, making sure that you're locking your car. Don't leave things that in the open where they can be seen. Those are the biggest prevention things that we see so far. And you talk about valuables, but we've had a lot of concerted effort to making sure that people are aware not to leave guns, firearms, weapons in vehicles, and that's a very, very significant point I think I want to emphasize here as well again.
Absolutely. No one wants to buy a firearm for personal protection and then have that either used against them or used against one of their neighbors. I mean, there's been instances in Tallahassee in the last, 5-10 years where firearms are taken out of cars, and then when a homeowner comes out and they confront somebody, which you shouldn't do, by the way, but they go to confront them, the guy's using that gun to shoot at the homeowner at that point. You don't want your gun used against one of your neighbors.
So wrapping up a little bit on this segment, and that's great advice. What do you do if the unfortunate happens and your car gets stolen?
Call 606-5800. Unless it's in the moment you're seeing it right now, call 911, but call 606-5800, let them know, and so that way we can start tracking it down.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time, Sergeant. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll shift gears a bit and talk about vehicle burglaries, another crime that's unfortunately far too common. Stay tuned.
Damage caused by hurricanes is devastating and traumatizing, leaving victims with the daunting task of rebuilding their homes and lives. The last thing you need during the recovery process is a dishonest contractor taking advantage of you and taking your insurance money. Deceitful contractors show up after disasters looking to make a quick buck and will promise you anything if you sign a contract, pay them in advance, and ultimately do shoddy or no work at all. Avoid being the victim of contractor fraud. Get estimates from at least 3 contractors, check their references, and never pay the full amount in advance. When hiring a contractor to rebuild your home, be selective in your choice. Remember, it is your home, and an honest contractor will treat you well during the rebuilding process. And always work with your insurer. Don't allow anyone to pressure you into something you may end up regretting. And remember, if you didn't request it, reject it.
To report fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. This is a public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
At the Florida Sheriff's Association, we are able to serve our sheriffs and Floridians thanks to our member support. The FSA Member Perks program was created to give back to our members for all that they do. Members enjoy savings on restaurants, vacations, golf courses, car rentals, healthcare, movie tickets, theme parks, online shopping, and more. With over 300,000 offers, you'll always find ways to save. To learn more or to join the Florida Sheriff's Association, visit fsamemberperks.org.
Hey everybody, it's gonna be just plain hot out there.
In 70-degree weather, it takes only minutes for the inside of your car to heat up like an oven. At 104 degrees, heat stroke begins, followed by loss of consciousness. Every year, almost 40 children die of heat stroke after being forgotten in a vehicle. A simple change in daily routine is often the cause. Look before you lock. Brought to you by Kids in Cars.
Welcome back. We're continuing our conversation with Sergeant Dave Teems from our Property Crimes Unit. Sergeant Teems, so vehicle burglaries are certainly one of the most reported crimes in our area, unfortunately. And so what are you seeing right now in terms of trends? And again, I know we touched on this a little bit, but we'll expand a little further in this segment.
Sure. So the biggest thing we're seeing is people that leave valuable items within sight in their vehicle. Unlocked cars are another big part of it, but even if you lock your car, if you leave something they want, there's a laptop there, break the window, reach in, get it. I mean, you're looking at less than 10 seconds in and out of the car, and they're gone with something that means a lot to you or your business.
So there's trends we're also seeing where people go into, we spoke briefly about gyms, going into gyms and seeing that you lock your car. Talk about that a little bit and what you can do to protect yourself there.
So this has been going on so long, since I was a detective, a long time ago. At least my guys would make you think that.
You're right.
Something we call felony lane. They'll go in, they sit in gym parking lots, they sit in parking lots where people go to grocery stores where they know they're going to have some time. They see the person go in. Now, the gym's a big place only because most people don't want to take their purse or their wallet in with them. They watch somebody put it in the trunk. They walk away, they walk over, punch the window, hit the button, get inside. Once they get in there and take it, they've got a good hour to play with your checkbook, your credit cards, your ID, your Social Security, anything that you've left in that purse, they can go and start writing checks and start paying for stuff with. We call it felony lane because a lot of times I go write a check, go to the bank, go the furthest outside lane so that it's less visible for them, and then and start doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. They'll seize any opportunity. Criminals will seize any opportunity they can. So it really seems like many of these crimes can potentially be prevented with just a few precautions. So what are some of the top mistakes that people tend to make?
So, and I know it's like beating a dead horse sometimes, right? But you look at our 9 p.m. routine, what's the first thing we start telling people? Lock your cars. Make sure that you take all your valuables out. You go to on our app will give you a push notification that will tell you right at 9 p.m., hey, make sure you lock your doors, make sure you got your stuff out of your cars. And I'm a part of that. I make sure that I get it. But those are the biggest things you can do. Don't leave valuables, don't leave firearms in your vehicle. They start looking for them. If they can get into your car, they're gonna start looking for those things, and they're gone as quicker than they came.
Yeah, and you spoke of previously about being proactive with cameras, being proactive in making sure that you park in a well-lit area, and if it's not well-lit, maybe consider adding a light, adding a camera, because those things certainly will be proactive steps that you can take. So what should citizens do if they do walk out and, say, discover somebody or discover burglary in progress?
So first thing is don't confront them. You don't know what they've got. You don't know what their history is. You don't know how badly they want to get away from you. They may have a firearm on them. They've either taken from another vehicle that they brought with them when they came. It's not worth it. Whatever's in that car, it's not worth you getting shot, not worth you getting stabbed. It's not worth you dying over. Immediately call 911. Get as much information as you can, kind of what they're wearing if you can. Just make sure that if you happen to see it happen, retreat into your house, get into a spot. If you have a firearm in the house, keep it with you from there, because if they come at you, which is highly unlikely, but if they do, you can be prepared until we can get there.
Yeah, and that proactive monitoring or being aware, I think, is so critical for our community and certainly in the neighborhoods. And to that point, I know we've got our Neighborhood Watch program that's out there that we've really tried to expand more recently. And certainly, neighborhoods and communities can contact us for that. You want to touch a little bit about what proactive steps neighborhoods can do in that regards?
Sure. So you always want to be a good neighbor. I mean, when's the time most people try to get up and jog? They try to get up early in the morning, especially right now. It's so hot. They want to get up when it's cooler. When you're on your jog, if you see somebody that's around a car that maybe shouldn't be, that they start hiding as soon as they see you, make a phone call. I'd much rather you have us come and check them out and make sure that they're not doing something they're not supposed to, and instead of going just victimizing more people as they go along.
Yeah, and something, technology can be bad, but there's also good things with technology, and I've noticed, on social medias that there's groups that set up that does that, will monitor, and the community that I live in, you can't move much to around without something being posted out there about who's this person or who's that, and
Absolutely.
And oftentimes people say, well, they've lived there for 3 years, but oftentimes it may not be. So we really appreciate any final proactive comments for our viewers.
I mean, the biggest thing is just making sure you get everything out of your car. If it's not in there, they can't take it. Right. The biggest thing we can let you know. My grandmother lived in Miami for years, left her windows down and her doors unlocked. And when I called her about it, what did she tell me? There's nothing there for them to take. I'd rather not replace a window. Yeah. That was her thoughts of it, but everything was out of the car. She didn't leave change in the car.
Right. Yeah. Well, good advice there. Thank you, Sergeant Teems. Next up is our Deputy on Duty segment. And today is how LCSO is raising awareness about suicides and sharing some of the warning signs to look for. Stay tuned.
An email from the post office. How do they even know my email address?
They don't. This is a bogus email sent by scammers that looks like it is coming from the Postal Service, or even the Postmaster General himself. The email contains fraudulent information about an attempted or intercepted package delivery, and provides a link to click on to find out when delivery is expected. But that click can activate a virus, which can steal personal information such as usernames, passwords, or financial account numbers stored on the computer or mobile devices. Here are some telltale signs that an email is bogus. It contains poor grammar or spelling errors. It states that immediate action must be taken or there'll be dire consequences. It requests personal information under the guise of reconfirming information. The Postal Service does not notify customers about package delivery attempts by email. If you receive such a message, don't open it. Instead, forward it to spam@uspis.gov and then delete the email.
Domestic violence knows no faith.
1 in 4 women experiences abuse in their relationship.
So most likely, there are victims of abuse in your congregation.
Don't think it doesn't happen in your church.
Or synagogue.
Or mosque.
Because it does.
It does.
It does.
Learn the signs of abuse.
And how to help victims.
Know the many resources available in our community.
End the silence on domestic violence.
Contact the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council or the Refuge House Hotline.
On this episode, we're talking about the importance of peer support at the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
Project 413 is a peer support team. Everybody that serves on the team has been there, done that experience with the agency members that they are supporting. So there's something really unique and powerful about having a conversation with somebody that, yes, I have that shared experience, and I've been there and it was really hard and this is how I got through it and you're going to make it through too.
Peer support plays a vital role in law enforcement, giving deputies and employees a safe space to share experiences and emotions with others who've walked a similar path.
It's a better understanding coming from another law enforcement officer, or a firefighter hears from another firefighter, and peer support, or any first responder. It makes a difference talking to somebody or listening to somebody that has experienced what you may experience or what you're going through yourself.
People are able to confide in you, believe in you, trust in you, and you're able to provide them with the tools they need to get themselves out of a situation sometimes that they perpetuate, sometimes that are brought upon them.
The National Alliance on Mental Illness offers resources to individuals and families navigating mental health challenges.
NAMI is the largest mental health grassroots nonprofit in America, and in Florida alone, we at least have 27 affiliates. So what we do as a nonprofit is we have free everything for people affected by mental health conditions. So that's not just people who have mental health conditions, that's also their family members as well.
September is Suicide Prevention Month, a time to raise awareness, break stigma, and highlight the importance of mental wellness. At the Leon County Sheriff's Office, deputies and community partners are working together to make sure help is always within reach.
And it's so important because the stigma surrounding suicide, even having the thoughts, is still prevalent to the point where people don't want to talk about it or just feel very ashamed. Especially those who have attempted suicide. And so we just want to make sure that there's awareness, yes, but then that hope is real, that you live long enough and you work on healing, you have your community, just so many aspects of the holistic care, but the hope is there. The hope hasn't gone away. Maybe the hope has been dimmed, but it's still there.
Nationally, 1 in 5 adults experience mental illness each year. Recognizing the warning signs and symptoms is crucial.
If you see that your friends or loved ones are becoming withdrawn, a big thing is stopping hobbies that they once enjoyed, and maybe they still do enjoy them, but they're having trouble doing them, or they just lost interest in them altogether. So that receding into themselves is definitely a sign.
Normalizing conversations about mental health is essential and facilitates peer support, fostering an environment of openness rather than allowing individuals to suffer in silence.
With Project 413 kind of being, on the horizon of something really wonderful that's just going to be a shift in the way that we view the stressors and the challenges and the traumas that are associated with a career in this field.
If you or someone you know is struggling, resources are available through LCSO, NAMI, and the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. For Leon County Today, I'm Giovanni Hampton.
Damage from hurricanes is devastating and traumatic. After these storms, dishonest contractors show up, hoping to make a quick buck from your insurance claim. They'll promise anything if they can get you to sign a contract, collect your payment in advance, and ultimately do no work at all. Avoid being the victim of contractor fraud. Get estimates from at least 3 contractors. Check references, and remember, if you didn't request it, reject it.
To report fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. This is a public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Download the Leon County Sheriff's Office mobile app right now. Our mobile app makes it easier than ever to report a crime and get important safety alerts. And follow reported crimes in your neighborhood, all in one convenient location in the palm of your hands. Download LCSO Connect right now. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play by searching LCSO Connect. You can more details about the features of the app on our website, leoncountyso.com.
Welcome back to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil, our Undersheriff Ron Cave. Another great episode under your belt.
Well, thank you. I certainly enjoy being here.
Yeah, I want to go back to our deputy on duty because, you know, September is Suicide Awareness Month, and it's one of those things that we don't talk about a lot. You know, the media doesn't cover normal, everyday citizens when those acts occur, and they do that to not, you know, encourage other people. But it happens more than people know.
It really does, and it's so unfortunate that people don't have an outlet to express concerns about what they're dealing with. And it happens in the general community, and it certainly happens in law enforcement. And we have unfortunately seen it even in our agency, you know, our deputies committing suicide. And we've taken a lot of proactive steps. I mean, the sheriff has really, really focused on deputy wellness, employee wellness. You know, here recently.
Absolutely. And then we like to say, lock it or lose it.
Yes, that is so important. And that 9 o'clock routine and you know, obviously the things that we talked about in the you know, previous segments is so important. There's so much you can do to prevent, and that's oftentimes the best approach is prevention. Yes. And hopefully this segment's provided some fresh reminders.
Absolutely. Lock those doors, remove those valuables.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Undersheriff Kay, for hanging out with us today. And we want to thank you for hanging out. We'll see you back here next week.